Hello and welcome back. Today we have something I have not done in over 3 years, I believe, and it is an aircraft. So if some of you were waiting for that, well, here we have it today. So as you can see, it is the Ju-87, or more commonly known as the Stuka. And also, if you're wondering about anything, I was on holiday at this time, so, improvised studio, but it will have to do for some part of the video. So anyways, this was an Airfix kit picked up at the National Museum of Aviation in Scotland. Great place for any aviation fan or anyone interested in military in general. So here we have the instructions, and I can't remember what I was exactly showing here. I think it's just the instructions in general, and how Airfix give you an option for the cowling on or to expose the engine, which is the YMO. The YMO 211D. Yes, I did have to open a Wikipedia article for that. But anyway, so we started assembly with the wing structure here on the side and the cockpit floor. And yes, if I do get some of these terms wrong, please make sure to correct me. I'm no aviation nerd, like probably some of you that watch me. But, I try to get everything correct. So anyways, for the pilot seat, these attachment points were really small, especially there was like some sort of spike triangle, so you had to hold it in place, and yes, it did fall off a couple times. This was not the final position. So this is the, I believe, casing bag at the back for the radio operator / back gunner. When you shoot a MG, a lot of casings fall off back down, and this was located under, just to ensure that no casings would end up in the cockpit. Here is the holder for all the MG belts, or should I rather say boxes or mags. Oh my god, I lost the word for that. But yeah, that was positioned at the back, and it was glued with these little fragile pieces, but I somehow managed to not snap one for once. So as you can see, it's going to get glued here to the side. So a little something, as you saw from the box, this is the Ju-87R, and the R standing for Reichweite. Yes, if I have a German viewer, correct me there, and I probably pronounced it wrong, but that basically means operational range, which means they're a longer range version of the base Stuka, and they were based on the B version, which explains why you can also make the B-2, I believe it is. So here is the radio operator / back gunner seat. It kind of just looks like a basket. Must have been uncomfortable on those long flights the operational range version was made for, but I guess they had to deal with what they had. War was never comfortable. So here is, what makes him the radio operator. There's a radio at the back, if you did not know that. And my mistake of gluing the joystick on. And if you've built any kit before, you can just guess what happens now. So here are the wing roots. If you would want to display this in some sort of, damaged, crashed scene, then you could, leave it like this and have the wings detached on the side somewhere. And speaking of that, I do actually need an aircraft like that for a future diorama I'm making. And the Edward kit I picked up does not have it like that, so, you know, I guess Airfix do have some step ahead here. And another mistake of mine, gluing on the sides. So, I was on holiday and I basically felt like I needed to rush everything as I wanted to get what I could done in this time. And this made me glue the sides on both. And as you could guess, getting into those tight places there, especially with that bag and those ammo and those mags and that joystick and everything, you could guess that I probably painted over something. So, you know, next time just I guess I won't rush everything. So here you can see the sides of the halves of the fuselage, and no, I did not glue them on before painting. You know, I might have not made a planer sometime, but that's something I will remember forever. But anyway, so as you can see, I just put them one side on, then the other side. But Airfix interestingly tell you to put them both, to glue the halves together, then put it on from the top, like sort of slide it on. Which probably works, but you know, it doesn't seem as convenient as just gluing both halves on. So here is the lower part of the wing glued on. You know, I hate gluing these bigger parts on as I almost never get any actual good fit. You'll see that in a future video I already have recorded, and probably in this video a bit later on. And what I was pointing out there with the knife was a little part of something that came on the sprue. I don't know what. Some dirt or something probably came into the sprue when it was being injected, but you know, just a bit annoying as it also had this greasy feel to it, so if I was to paint there, then you know, it would be slightly a problem. So anyways, there you could leave the MG bay open. You know, I didn't decide to. And Airfix would tell you to cut the wing there open. So anyways, we're back in the studio. So I painted everything, you know, again in a bit of a rush after I came back straight away, you know, wanted to get it done, and obviously I didn't record it. But I also had pictures of it, you know, to show you how it looked, but I also lost those, so I guess you'll have to somehow manage without seeing what's in there, even though that's one thing that I really enjoy about aircraft, making the cockpit. So here I glued the wings on. Yes, I did get a bit of a bad fit at the back, like I always do, but you know, nothing that couldn't be fixed. So here's the engine. Yes, this is all really sped up, you know, to not make you spend over an hour watching me construct an engine, which you can probably watch somewhere way better do it in a shorter time. But anyways, it was also really blurry, as you know, a bit most of these parts were fiddly to say the least. Even when I applied glue, there you can see it fell off. And yeah, well, I actually really enjoyed building the engine, you know, something you can leave exposed. Props to Airfix for that. You know, I've heard a lot of things about Airfix in the past, you know, their old toolings not being particularly, you know, good. Their vintage classics, obviously, you know, it's a vintage kit, so what would you expect from it? But even I heard some of their newer kits are a bit bad, but with this kit I was actually really surprised with the quality and the multiple options they give you. You know, it's always fun to leave something, you know, exposed, bare bones, you know, especially that this has a metal finish to it, and I always love painting metal. So yeah, also a lot of opportunity for rust. You know, obviously these engines wouldn't be like corroded out or anything. You know, these things still had to fly, but you know, a little bit of rust here and there, maybe the exhausts. You know, it was fun. So anyways, here's the air intake for the radiator, I believe, because every engine needs cooling. Yes, you probably all knew that, but if you didn't, I guess you learned something today. And if you look on the Stuka cowling, that's the part that is on the bottom. And yes, I've been using cowling, and that's probably the wrong term for what I mean, but you know, I can't find the term now, not in my head, so yeah, we'll have to do with cowling. So all these small parts and pipes are attached, you know, nothing too big, but you know, it all constructed up this engine nicely, a lot of small details to paint. So yeah, I believe we are onto the propeller now. So this is the same as every other variant, B variant of the Stuka, you know, especially that this R version was based off the B version. So, you know, if you have a B version, it will look the same. So here's the part that I'm talking about, the cowling, or so I should say. I also left this, I also built this so that I could paint it and leave it on the side of the Stuka when displaying it. You know, just to, you know, make that camo stick nicer instead of just ending there. So, also as you can see on the bottom, there's my great seam line removal. Basically, the parts are decently level, but, you know, as you can see, there's black in it from painting the cockpit, and, you know, it's pretty evident that there's a seam line there, but I hope I'll do better on my next aircraft. You know, luckily you can't see the bottom this much, as this aircraft is a tail sitter, but if for some reason you can see the bottom, then you know, the top isn't much better either, but we'll have to do. So anyways, the rear ailerons, I believe they're called, were attached. The rudder could also be left unattached and just dry fit, or pressure fit should I say, and you know, you could turn it, but I don't think there's a need to turn it, as if, you know, it's not a toy. I'm not gonna, you know, be playing with it the whole time. It's sat on my shelf for already a couple weeks, probably months actually. I finished this way longer than I thought. 2nd of July, damn. Anyways, here you can see me struggling, because yeah, I have to struggle with everything. So before, well, editing this video and recording the audio, I thought that Airfix screwed up on this kit, as that part that I just showed was Jericho's trumpet, right? You can see it here, this distinctive propeller on the gear. And until then, I thought, well, that's the only version of how it could look. Or this big propeller down here. But, well, I was obviously wrong. You know, I tried to prove my point somehow, but I researched it further, and this part here, that little nub at the end, is factually correct. You know, stupid of me to think that I can, you know, prove some modelling company wrong. That's definitely done more R&D than me, but anyways, those gear were attached, or the gear legs, should I say, were attached. And I should have probably held them, as they came out slightly bent, and I did have to do a tiny bit of filling and sanding, you know, but still. So Airfix are nice and give you two options, either the gear displayed, okay, I won't say up, either the gear displayed during flight, which is just the regular circular gear, or when it's on the ground, which has like this flat part on the bottom, because you know an aircraft weighs something, so it simulates the weight from the aircraft on the rubber wheels. So basically these little parts here were added, and now I thought of decals, how they will go on it, but I kind of forgot that, well, the decals go under it, not over it. Kind of stupid of me, but yeah. So here the flaps and the air brakes were added. So the Stuka is a dive bomber, if you did not know that. Another thing you can learn from this video. But you know, it needs air brakes to slow itself down and control where it dropped this little tiny bomb you can see here, 250 kg. Actually no, these were 50 kg, the bigger one here is 250, and interestingly the R version would most of the time only carry the 250 bomb, but as well, since it was operational range, it needed fuel tanks, 1080 litres to be specific, or 290 gallons for US viewers. And I lost the part for the 250 kg bomb. So looking into my spare box, I found a little thing, I can't even remember what kit it's from, and you know, it was the size of the part that I needed, so I just used it. Anyway, swiftly on to painting. I masked up the cockpit and done some pre-shading. First timer for me. You know, it was actually really enjoyable. I painted it with, I believe that was like sky blue or grey blue or something like that, on top of a black primer. And I did already do this a second time on the next kit, but you know, somewhere to learn. So here we have the Italian Regia Aeronautica paints. Yes, more if you're an Italian viewer, like destroy me or whatever. But here the base coat's done, and you can really see that pre-shading. It looks really great. Yes, I know that it looks too striking for someone, but I actually enjoy it. So here the green smoke rings, I believe they're called, were painted on, and yes, they are a bit too big for what the actual camo is, but you know, for all intents and purposes, they look good, I think. You know, especially with a bit of weathering, they look a bit more subtle and less striking, and you know, it kind of looks like some sort of leopard print or something. So you know, I like it. So here the bottom was painted with I can't even remember what the colour is called, something in Italian, but it's really similar to the colour I used for pre-shading, so you couldn't really see a difference on the bottom with the pre-shading, but you know, always good to know that it's there. So here I done the exhaust staining, and there fell off the cowling, but this was first done with a black, then a brown, I believe, or rust, and then a white. So yes, it doesn't look too good, like obviously not perfect, but it was actually enjoyable to paint. So the engine was also done here, you know, rusted up, chipped off propeller and so on, and I do actually like how it looks. You know, not building an aircraft for a long time made me forget how enjoyable these things are. You know, I started my modelling journey off with aircraft, and coming back to them now was really something I should do more often. So our white background, and those are actually tissues. So weathering with pigments can be a dirty journey if you've experienced that. All washes can also drip, so you know, I'd rather protect my workspace, which is already anyways stained up, painted. So you know, I wouldn't want to ruin it more so that you guys can't see what I'm doing. So you know, I'd rather save my workspace and just dirty up these paper towels. So anyways, chipping was done, and yes, all of you immediately probably thought of Japanese aircraft, but you know, I just wanted to experiment with some chipping here, just seal colour. You know, as you can see on the right wing, that's with pigments on, and the left wing is without pigments, so you know, this really tones down that chipping, just what I wanted. And bam, that's how everything looks with all the pigments on, you know, as if it was in Africa or Italy. You know, those places were dusty, especially the gear. That thing got dusty. So the bottom also has this sort of nice streaking effect that I managed to do with the wash and pigments. And yeah, I actually really enjoyed weathering this. As you know, there's obviously not mud on the undercarriage, because that would, you know, that would be a bit of over the top. This isn't an armor kit, but it's actually really enjoyable to do something more subtle. So here the canopy was painted with a paintbrush. No, it doesn't look good. If you've built an aircraft before and you've masked it off, you can see how terrible of a job I've done. You know, not to say that I don't like it or hate it, but you know, I could have done a better job. Just I with the masking tape I have, I don't think it would be possible to mask it off sufficiently enough to make it look good. So anyways, we reached the end of the video, I guess. Pretty quick process of building this aircraft. Now the kit wasn't too complicated, neither was it, you know, a bad kit. Actually, I really enjoyed it, and Airfix have really stepped up their game from what I've heard and experienced in the past. So if you do enjoy aircraft, you know, I will be making more in the future. I have already made one, not finished it yet, you know, something of a bigger scale, but you know, it's awaiting decals right now. Maybe I'll do a post about it, you know, maybe you'll get to see what I'm doing at the moment. You know, I've got a lot of projects on the workbench right now, and my time schedule has been a bit rough, but you know, I always find some time for modelling and making these videos for you and myself. Actually, I actually enjoy this. Don't think that, you know, I get forced to do this by myself or you guys. You know, sharing the work is just what I do. You know, there's been a poll recently. I posted it. It was, what would you like to see next? And well, that meant more like, what should I start next? Because I think there'll be 5 more videos before you get to see anything you voted for. So sorry if you thought that that's going to come in the next week or so, but I haven't even started any of those kits. You know, as I said, timing has been a bit rough. I've been kind of busy in the past couple of days. I've started a mini art kit, and actually 2, and you that have built one or started one like me know how much parts these things have and how difficult some parts might be to assemble, especially all these tiny parts and PE parts. But luckily I've got a better CA or super glue, depends what you like to say, in the near past. So yeah, it's probably going to be easier to assemble things like that now. And yeah, basically, thanks for watching. You know, that was a bit of a ramble at the end, a bit of a little chit chatter, but anyways, goodbye and see you in the next one.